If you just inherited a property and there was no will, and you and your siblings are not getting along on who the executor of this estate is, then you will be appointed a court attorney. Now, the thing with a court attorney is they are a third party and they don't have any vested interest in you selling the property or getting your money. So what does that mean? It means that you're not a high priority on that list. So in this scenario with this property, the siblings were just simply not getting along. So they were appointed an attorney. So let me give you an example. If paperwork, for example, that needs to be filled out takes 3 weeks, right? Let's say it takes 3 weeks. That's a standard time it takes to get it filled out and sent it back to the county clerk. But if you have an attorney that has other things going on, right, with no real vested interest in you, 3 weeks can turn into 6 weeks, okay? Now, this is no shade to the attorney because the attorney is a business person at the end of the day. They have other stuff going on, but this is what happens when you have a court-appointed attorney handle your case. So we got this deal. It was land. We got it, I believe, in February, if I'm not mistaken, and it's just now closing, and we're in October. That's almost 8 months, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. If you just inherited a property and there's no will, here are 3 mistakes you must avoid at all costs. Number 1, find a way to get along with your siblings. If you want to have a smooth transaction and get it done as fast as possible, it's better for you or your sibling to be an executor of the estate because you have a vested interest in what goes on with your property. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you find a way to agree. Number 2, before you go through probate, consult a title company, a real estate title company. You can find them by simply going on Google, or you can DM me or send a message below and I can give you a recommendation and find out if you can do what's called an affidavit of heirship. If you can do an affidavit of heirship, instead of waiting 6 months to go through probate, the title company can get an affidavit of heirship done in as little as 30 days or less. An affidavit of heirship, just like it sounds, an affidavit of heirship. It's a document that specifically states who are the rightful owners of the property. The title company is going to file that for you, and you're able to close the property in 30 days or less, depending on how long it takes for you to fill out that paperwork. Now, in order to fill out that paperwork, you need to know, let's say, if it was inherited from your parents, you need to know your parents' names. You need to have witnesses, 2 witnesses, to verify that they were the owner of that address and that you were the rightful heirs. You need to know the family tree, other siblings that are involved in this transaction. So that's called an affidavit of heirship. Number 3, ignoring debts, taxes, liens owed against the property. In order to sell that property or put it into your name, those debts, taxes, and liens must be satisfied. So when you're negotiating, keep that in mind that you're going to have to pay them out of your proceeds. Here's a bonus mistake that you must avoid. Don't just go off of Zillow of what your property's worth. I highly recommend getting a realtor evaluation of what your property's worth. Zillow, in my opinion, it's been accurate. However, you actually want to get a CMA. It's called a certified market analysis. That's when a realtor is going to look at comps in the area and tell you what your property is worth. Now, if you want to know what your property is worth, I'm not a realtor, but I can tell you what your property is worth. When doing business with sellers, I'm not afraid to tell them what their property is worth currently, and I'm not afraid to tell them what their property is worth all fixed up after our investors build on it or after it's all repaired. I'm not afraid to tell them how much we're making because at the end of the day, it's their decision, and I don't want them to feel like they're getting taken advantage of. Now, as far as the $80,000 with the attorney, because the siblings were not getting along, they're not getting their $80,000 at closing. At closing, the money is actually going to the estate, and the estate has to distribute the money. So there you go, guys. Make sure you get along with your siblings because you want the money to go to you at closing and not the estate. They're still going to get their money eventually, but it is a process and it's going to take time.